NFS News. This is Maha again with the latest scientific updates. Recent studies have found that there has been a significant increase in the cases of attention deficit and hyperactive disorder, or ADHD, in children in the past decade. However, the cause of this disorder is still unknown. This is the most common disorder among children, which leads to a decrease in attention span and an increase in hyperactive behavior. ADHD has previously been linked to nutrient deficiencies and unhealthy diets. Now, a new study published in the Pediatrics Journal found that lower adherence to the Mediterranean diet is correlated with an increase in ADHD diagnosis. This case-control study, conducted in Spain, observed the relationship between ADHD and the Mediterranean diet. This diet emphasizes the intake of fruits and vegetables, whole wheat grains, olive oil, and fatty fish, while discouraging the intake of meats and sweets. The objective of this study was to observe and compare the adherence of the Mediterranean diet in children who are recently diagnosed with ADHD with that of healthy individuals. The researchers recruited 60 individuals who were newly diagnosed with ADHD and 60 healthy individuals within the ages of 6 to 16. DSM-4, or Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder 4th edition, was used to confirm ADHD, and the healthy individuals were also assessed for the absence of ADHD. Their total energy and nutrient intake was measured using a food frequency questionnaire where participants recorded their usual consumption of each of the foods mentioned in the questionnaire. They also assessed the adherence to the Mediterranean diet using a KidMed test, where each of the item is given a score ranging from -4 to 12. The higher the number, the greater the adherence to the diet. In addition, the researchers also looked at parents' education level, maternal smoking while pregnant, whether children were breastfed or not, and all the children's BMI. The results suggested that individuals with ADHD had a significantly lower adherence to the Mediterranean diet when compared to the controls. In addition, they found that individuals with ADHD ate a significantly more unhealthy diet, which included high amounts of sugars and lower fatty fish intake than the control subjects. Additionally, they found that ADHD individuals were more at a social disadvantage than the healthy control subjects. For instance, they found that an increase in maternal smoking during pregnancy and a decrease in breastfeeding was also associated with ADHD individuals. This shows that ADHD individuals were more at a social disadvantage than the healthy controls, which may have played a negative role in their eating habits. These findings are very interesting as they suggest that dietary habits may play a significant role in contributing to ADHD. These results are consistent with other studies conducted in different regions of the world. For example, a study conducted on Iranian children in 2012 associated the intake of fast food with higher prevalence of ADHD. Another case-control study conducted on Korean children concluded that high intake of grains, fish, and low intake of fast food and sugary beverages were associated with a decrease in ADHD diagnosis. Therefore, we see that low-quality diets are constantly being associated with a high risk of developing ADHD. In addition, a meta-analysis conducted in 2017 pooled 12 cohort studies and concluded that there was a statistically significant association between maternal smoking during pregnancy and ADHD risk. Case-control studies like this one are easy to conduct as you simply observe two groups and see if an exposure is correlated with the outcome that you are interested in. One of the limitations of this study is that an FFQ, or food frequency questionnaire, was used to assess the dietary intake of these children, and this method can lead to random and systematic errors as the data input is based on memory. Another limitation of the study is that we don't know if it is the increased intake of unhealthy foods that leads to a higher risk of ADHD, or if it is the ADHD which leads to an increased intake of unhealthy foods due to impulsive decision making. In addition, the study cannot be generalized to the entire population as it's only conducted on 60 Spanish children with ADHD and 60 healthy controls, and so the study is regionally restricted. In conclusion, the researchers of this study found a positive correlation between ADHD diagnosis and a low adherence to the Mediterranean diet. In this study, more ADHD individuals were surrounded by a dysfunctional family environment. This environment may have influenced the intake of unhealthy foods, which is correlated with a high risk of developing ADHD. Therefore, I would recommend future parents to create a healthy environment for their children and improve their eating habits by including healthier foods such as fresh fruits and vegetables. This won't necessarily lead to complete prevention of ADHD, but it will certainly create a healthier lifestyle. Usually, media does a very poor job of covering new scientific research. Instead of mentioning an outcome as an association or correlation, they tend to present it as a cause and effect relationship. In addition, their conclusions are very definite, and they use words such as causes instead of may cause. They misinterpret the results and use attractive titles to get people's attention. For example, one news article covering the same study was titled, "Diet May Help ADHD Kids More Than Drugs." However, the study did not mention that changing diet will have a better result than the drugs. Therefore, I think scientific reporters should make sure they understand the objective and the results of the study and how they impact the population. Also, they should not make conclusions outside of what the authors have mentioned in their study. And that is the end of my news segment. Thank you for joining me.